What's up, you guys, man? I just been thinking a lot, man, and I hear a lot of people saying, "I want this and I want that. I want to be rich. I want this type of money. I want this type of lifestyle. I want that. I want this." And I find myself doing the same thing. And then I had to sit back and ask myself, "What am I willing to sacrifice to get to that? What am I really willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to maybe not party as much? Maybe not hang around friends as much? Are you willing to really lock in with you? And it's lonely. It gets lonely when you're trying to build something. And normally, unless you got a partner with you that's trying to build from the bottom with you, it's lonely. It really is like it's really lonely when you're trying to build a way for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? When you're trying to build your way for your family or build your way for other people, it gets lonely because you feel like you're the only one that's sacrificing or you're the only one that's doing something. But who's willing to do that? That's the question. I mean, I hear a bunch of people talking a bunch of good stuff. Man, I'm about to do this. Man, I'm about to get this popping. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. Then there's no results. You understand what I'm saying? I find myself doing that too, like a lot of the times. But now, like the type of headspace that I'm in right now, man, I'm doing everything that I want to do. Meanwhile, I'm still keeping my priorities in check. Still keeping a job. Still doing what I got to do around the house. Bills still paid. Rent still good. I'm doing everything I have to do. Doing everything I have to do. You understand what I'm saying? So, but I had to sacrifice. Like, I don't hang out as much. I don't go different places as much. Not just because of COVID. Even if COVID wasn't going on right now. Even if COVID wasn't going on right now, I still would. I don't be going to places. I just don't. I have to focus on what I got to do to get myself to the next level. Health-wise, I got to focus on my health. I got to get that back in order, get that back right. Just really making a regimen for myself. And so I might have to sacrifice a couple of things. A couple of friends might be offended. A couple of friends might feel left out some of the times. But it's like when you're trying to chase something, you're trying to get somewhere, it'd be like that. And you don't necessarily mean to, quote unquote, cut them off. But it's not like I'm cutting them off permanently. It's right now, the time is not amicable for me to be just out partying, running the streets. This is not applicable right now. It's not. And it never will be, because after you change, it's that you can't go back. You can't go backwards into what you was doing. You have to you have to forge a new path. You kind of have to forge a new way to go. You have to, or else you're going to be right back to where you was at, because your focus is going to be off. You understand what I'm saying? And I learned this early. You can't take everybody with you. And it's sad, because if you think about it, it's like, man, you look around at your people, you're like, so who's being left behind? Who am I not taking with me? You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what? People got to forge their own paths. And maybe your paths do cross again in life in general. But just make sure that you're doing everything you can to achieve everything you want. And that's what it's about, man. It's about that. What are you willing to sacrifice for it, though? Are you willing to be lonely? Are you willing to spend hours upon hours on editing or whatever you got to do? Or hours on hours of promotion or whatever you got to do? Or money? Or what are you willing to sacrifice, man? What are you willing to sacrifice? Maybe you can't buy the new Jordans because you gotta buy merchandise for your business to get popping. Maybe you can't go to the most expensive restaurant. Maybe you can only get Mickey D's for a little bit because you gotta pay for other stuff, more equipment, better equipment. It's all about you. What are you willing to sacrifice? That's what it's about, man. And the older I get, the more I'm starting to understand I have to sacrifice even more to get to where I want to be. Get to where I want to go. Get to my goals. Do what I got to do. Meanwhile, I'm still maintaining. Even when you're trying to elevate, you're trying to get to the next level, you have to maintain. You have to maintain. And the only way you're going to be able to maintain, you got to keep God first. You have to keep God first. You have to. It's just no other way. You have to keep God first, because as you elevating, you're going to need Him, His guidance, and His wisdom to guide you through difficult terrains, because it does get lonely. It does get frustrating at times when you feel like, man, I'm really different from everybody. I'm supposed to be doing something different than everybody. You can't go with the crowd. You got to be a leader of your own. You got to create your crowd. And so that's just a couple of things that have been on my mind, man, for real. Like, a lot of people say they want big things. They want the nice house. They want the nice car. They want the jewelry. They want the fame. They want all of that. They want everything that come with it, right? But you understand, the people that has this stuff, they had to sacrifice. It wasn't all fun and games. They didn't just wake up and say, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire, and they became one. No, that took time. That took effort. That took sacrifices. Are you willing to sacrifice the same thing they did to get to that? And you might not, listen, you could sacrifice all of that and still not get to that level. Are you willing to deal with the failure? But you know the crazy, this is the thing. I heard this one quote. Kobe said it one time. Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. He said, failure is not real. It's not. Because you can just have had a bad day and failed at something that day. That don't make you a failure. You get back up the next day and you go at it 10 times harder. You go at it again. You know what mistakes you made to not be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So don't make the same mistakes again and keep going. There's no such thing as failure. It's none. There's no such thing. So get that out your head. Are you willing to deal with the rejection of it? Because you might get rejected today. Your ideas might get rejected today. But are you willing to bypass that and say, you know what? I still want it. I still want it. It's about you and your mindset. What you going to do? Like, are you going to let what's going on affect you to the point where you don't want to do nothing? Or are you going to keep building and learning and keep going and keep pushing? It's all about the individual. So I don't want to hear no more people talking that I want that big money stuff and you ain't making big money moves, or you ain't setting yourself up to make big money moves. I don't want to hear it. At that point, you're just blowing smoke. That's it. You're just blowing smoke. So if you really want it, make steps and show that you really want it. I'm telling you, man, right now, man, I want it. And I'm doing everything I can to show I really do want this thing. I'm working every day. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly editing. I'm constantly perfecting my craft. I'm constantly working. I'm constantly coming up with ideas. Just because, man, I don't want to run out of ammunition, and I want something out of what I'm doing. Meanwhile, I'm still keeping a job. I'm still keeping my bills paid. At the same time, that's why it's like I gotta work. Can't give up work. So I gotta sacrifice something. And the only thing left is I gotta sacrifice hanging out with my friends as much. It's sad, it's jacked up, but I have to make sure I'm working every single day. I'm coming up with ideas every single day. I have to make sure. I have to make sure. If not, then everything I'm doing is in vain and it's pointless to do. So you guys, I'm gonna pose a question to y'all, and then I'm gonna get off this video. What are you willing to sacrifice to achieve your dreams and goals and get everything you want out of life? Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. All right, peace.